Clarity Times. Independent, factual, non-biased news you can rely on. Visit us at www.claritytimes.com 24/7 for news that matters to you. Clarity Times. Independent, factual, non-biased news you can rely on. Visit us at www.claritytimes.com 24/7 for news that matters to you. Clarity Times. Independent, factual, non-biased news you can rely on. Visit us at www.claritytimes.com 24/7 for news that matters to you.
This country who go to private schools don't have those extra resources to fill in the gaps. So what they're doing by trying to take the funding away and close the Department of Education is really creating fewer opportunities for students across the country. We say no. And same with privatization. It's a fraction of the students in this country who go to private schools. Typically, they're already affording private schools, and it takes money away from public education. I represent Portland, Oregon, but I also represent a lot of rural areas. And I can't imagine what they would say if somebody said, we're taking away your dollars for your public school. It's the heart of your community. We're going to give it, here's a voucher for your kids. They can go to another school. Guess what? There is no other school. So it is a backwards way of looking at education. The public schools are here for everyone. I also want to say it's really important for higher education. Higher education should be available to anyone who wants it. It's unaffordable. Dismantling and defunding public education would make it even less affordable and less accessible. So this is a wrong direction for our country. We're here to fight this. And as you heard, we just need a few Republicans to join with us, but we also have the public with us because public schools are for the public, and let's fight for them and for public education. Great.
When Donald Trump and Elon Musk look at Title I funding, they don't see opportunity for working class kids. They see an opportunity to enrich themselves. When Donald Trump and Elon Musk and House Republicans look at funding for public education, they see dollar signs for their private interest friends. And I don't want anybody here in the media reporting that they're trying to right-size government or shrink the size of the federal government. No, they want to redistribute the public funding to their billionaire buddies. That's what they're all about. Jeff Yass just made a $6 million donation to Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, the largest political donation in our history, specifically because he wants public education dollars from the federal government and from our state governments to quit going to public school teachers, to public school students, and to go to his friends that run private companies that capitalize on our public school dollars. That's what this is all about. It's all a grift. Look no further than the fact that after Elon Musk invested $250 million in getting Donald Trump elected, his wealth has grown by $160 billion since the election. They are taking your money. They're trying to take money out of your schools. They're trying to take money from your teachers. They think that your taxpayer dollars are all for them. And it is House Democrats, the American public, and we're calling on there just to be a couple of Republicans to grow a tiny bit of a spine so that we stop having our taxpayer dollars, our kids' dollars, your dollars stolen by people that already have ungodly amounts of money and are determined to take yours. They think that your labor is to make them rich, and they think your taxpayer dollars are to make them rich. Every time they see a school get renovated, every time they see a teacher get hired, they're asking why those dollars aren't for themselves, and we're here to stop them. Thank you all very much.
I'm John Mannion. I'm from Syracuse, New York. I was a public education teacher for almost 30 years, and my wife also a public education teacher for almost 30 years. I taught AP biology, chemistry, and 15-1 living environment. My wife is a reading intervention specialist and has taught in almost every level of elementary school and works specifically with kids on gaining a level of literacy that allows them to be successful. I was also the initial chair of the New York State Standing Committee on Disabilities. I have sat at the Committee on Special Education meetings on both sides of that table. The parents of the children that require individualized services in a public school setting, they want answers. They should have answers. We demand that there be conversations to support these kids. We all need support when we go to school, but some of us need specialized supports. So when we're talking about dismantling the Department of Education, what we're talking about is larger class sizes, those kids not getting those individualized services, the removal of athletics, arts, science, music. I asked to borrow this tie today. It's not my tie, it's my son's tie. He wore it at band concerts starting in 4th grade in a public school when he learned how to play the baritone. And I'm a teacher, which means in 4th grade, I stood behind him and I tied this tie. But you know what happens in public schools? One day that kid comes down the stairs from his bedroom and he's already tied that tie himself, right? And that's what happens in public schools. You gain the skills and the knowledge to be successful. The sign that the leaders of a civilization are not committed to its future is the failure to fund the education of their children. And these people and I will not stand here silently as they steal taxpayer dollars from special education students. We will not stand for it we're not going to stand for it here, and everything that's happening around this town where the hands are in these departments that have served this country and allowed us to be successful and true to the values that we're supposed to have. We will not stand silent. I will not stand silent. Parents, students, we stand with you. Thank you. How's everybody doing? I am pissed off. I am a proud graduate of the public education system. I'm the proud son of a mother. My mom just retired as a public school educator of 37 years, teaching special education all 37 years. And education is top of mind for me right now because I got some bad news that 2 days ago, my high school principal passed away, Mr. Lisby. And I talked about him on the floor yesterday. I was a little bit of a troublemaker when I was a kid, believe it or not. There was one day in school, I played a prank in the morning that I shouldn't have done. And it landed me in Mr. Lisby's office. Honestly, I probably should have been expelled that morning. But Mr. Lisby pulled me aside and said, Maxwell, I think your energy is misdirected. I think you can be great. I'm not going to expel you. There's consequences. I'm not going to expel you today. And I need you to focus. And that second chance that he gave me and that my teachers gave me, I think are part of the reason I'm here today as a member of Congress. And that story of second chances, that story
of love, that story of pouring everything you have into your students is the story of public education. And I know, because growing up with my mom, I remember there was a point in time where my mom taught at the same school I went to. It had its blessings and curses. But I would stay up with her late nights in her classroom, watching her do her students' IEP, not getting paid more to do it. I would go with her to the store as she spent money out of her own pocket to buy things for her classrooms and her students. And she never called her students, she called her students her kids. The Department of Education is a vital resource, an element of making sure public education is equitable and accessible to every kid. And don't tell me that you think that education is the path to greatness and that education is the great equalizer, and then turn around and think that we need to get rid of this building and the people and public servants that work in it to support teachers and education across this entire country. We have to ask why. Why do they want to do this? Because they want to take everything that we fought for in this government and privatize it, tear it apart, and give it to the billionaires and corporations. But we say, hell no. Not our education. Hands off our education. Because it's the reason why many of us are here today. It's the thing that sees every kid, whether it's a prankster, whether it's a straight A student, whether it's a band kid. I'm a band kid too. I went to a public art school, and band changed my life. The Department of Education needs to stay. And Trump can't do shit without Congress. It's unconstitutional, it's illegal, and we're going to stand here to fight against it. So we're here in defense of our students, in defense of our teachers, in defense of families and communities that are built around public education. And we won't let Republicans do this self-fulfilling prophecy where for decades they've said that public education is a failure. And now they want to make it a failure by taking away the Department of Education and money. We're going to stand in the way, and we're not going to let them do it. Thank you.
Buenos dias, everyone. My name is Veronica Escobar. I represent an economically disadvantaged community, the community of El Paso. Every single one of our school districts is a Title I school district. So my community will be devastated because of what Elon Musk and Donald Trump want to do. And look, let's be clear. All of us support more efficient government. We all support getting rid of waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption. So let's start with Elon Musk's contracts of $15 billion. Let's start with the fossil fuel subsidies of $700 billion. Notice that they are not starting with those big ticket items that they love. They are instead focusing on our teachers, our universities, the families in our communities that depend on education. And as my colleague Greg from Texas mentioned, our institutions in Texas, our educational institutions in Texas are under assault by state Republicans and now by Republicans at the federal level. And it's not to give the money back to the American people, okay? This is not about refunding tax dollars. You're never gonna hear Elon Musk or Donald Trump say, we're trying to save money to send it back to you. No, they are trying to defund our institutions, get rid of our federal workforce and hurt families so that they can line their own pockets. We are not going to stand for it. And to every American, we need you. We need you. Call the White House. Every American should be flooding the White House phone lines. Call Republicans in your state. Call your U.S. senators. Call your U.S. congressmen. Democrats are with you. We see you. We hear you. We are fighting for you. We need you to help us put the screws and the pressure to Republicans so that they understand they can't get away with theft in broad daylight. So all of us are going to keep fighting for you, for this country, for our communities. We need every single one of you to get in the game with us so so that we can save the United States of America and save our country. Thank you all.
All of the civil rights which the world has struggled and fought for 500 years, the right to learn is undoubtedly the most fundamental. I'm Congresswoman Alma Adams, and I am a 40-year retired professor who trained public school teachers. I went to public schools. My children went to public school. My daughter teaches in public schools. All of my children and grandchildren have attended public schools. Public schools are for all of our children. And if we get rid of public schools, then we get rid of their future. Now, what's happening here at the Department of Education is dangerous, it's reckless, and it's completely unacceptable. Now, Elon Musk and his unqualified tech minions are breaching federal laws, and we're not going to have it. Who knows what they're doing with the information? Who knows what they're doing with it? The Department of Education, if it's shut down, who's going to take care of these 26 million kids who rely on Title I funding? Who will take care of the 7.5 million with disabilities? Who will take care of the millions of students applying for financial aid, waiting to hear if they qualify and if they have the money to go to school? You know, why are political appointees with no experience in education suddenly making decisions about our children's future? Now, I remember Abraham Lincoln, who said that a child is someone who's going to carry on what we started. They're going to sit where we're sitting, and when we're gone, they will attend to those things that we think are important. All of our books are going to be judged, praised, or condemned by them. Why? Because the fate of humanity is in the children's hands. Let's continue to make sure that we take care of our children. Let's come together, that the parents and the children and all of us here in Congress, we're going to fight. We're going to fight. We're going to make sure that public schools stay intact. This building behind me needs to stay. The people who serve in this building, who work for our children, need to continue to do that work. And let's remember that our future will depend on the future that we give to our kids. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here with my colleagues, both on the Education and Workforce Committee and throughout Congress. It is fascinating that they are coming after public education, because when you talk about private schools or vouchers, in these spaces, people get to choose which kind of student they are going to accept. It is the public schools that parents get to decide where their children get to go. And when you think about Elon Musk and Trump, people who have had in their ranks folks who are eugenists, who believe that there are certain types of people that should be alive, should exist, should have opportunities, it should be of concern for all of us. When you have a president who has made fun of people with disabilities, it should be of concern to us. When you have people who have all, as billionaires, gone to private schools, it should be of concern to us. When you hear the nationalized surveillance they are creating by collecting the private data that is within our government, it should be of concern to us. When you see the kind of conflict of interest Elon Musk has with his connections to China, and now his minions have access to the most personal private data of the American public, it should be a national security concern to us. If the American people do not wake up to what is being created, we might not have an opportunity to fight back the authoritarian dictatorship that is in the making. This is not just about going after public education. This is about going after the systems of governance we have in this country. Elon Musk, who grew up in apartheid,
Yes.
Trump, who worships dictators around the country, and strongmen are not interested in our constitutional republic. They are not interested in upholding our democracy. They are not interested in abiding by the Constitution as they sidestep the congressional powers we have in Article 1. They are not interested in abiding by the court orders that our judiciary system is doling out. So you, the American public, have to stand up. Democrats are ready to fight for your rights, to fight for the country we all love, to protect the America that so many people envy. But you have to also be willing to pay attention to what is happening and hold the people you sent to Washington to represent you accountable.
So I'm Becca Ballin. I represent the state of Vermont, and I'm here as a member of Congress. I'm here as a former teacher, and I'm here as the parent of 2 kids who are in public school right now. And I'm here today to stand up for all those kids and all of those teens that are in public schools across this country. And when we stand in front of this building, I don't see the Department of Education. What I see is Little Green Street School, where my kids went to elementary school. And I see Brattleboro Union High School, where my kids attend school right now. All of us know that when we stand here, we are standing in front of your schools back home in your districts. That's what this is about. And I'm thinking about all of the students that I have had over the years. Kids from all different backgrounds who have hopes, who have dreams, and who understand in the most deep way that knowledge is power. Knowledge is opportunity. Knowledge is their ticket to a better life. And I know that parents and grandparents across this country, they want their kids and grandkids to do better than they did. How's that going to happen? It's going to happen through education. That's how it's going to happen. It is a path to a better life. It's a shot at something better. I don't care if you're in Idaho or Texas or Maryland or Maine, you deserve opportunities for your kids and your grandkids. That's why we're out here today. Follow the money, as so many of my colleagues have said. Follow the money. Who are they taken from and who are they given to? It is absolutely outrageous that they're trying to take money away from our kids to give it to billionaires. Knowledge is power, and we need to make sure we use our power to protect public education.
Thank you very much, colleagues, for being here. I want to just reiterate that we are here on an oversight mission, a congressional oversight mission. That is the constitutional role of Congress. We are disturbed that Donald Trump has said that he will issue an executive order to dismantle and abolish the Department of Education. I repeat, he cannot do that. That is illegal. That is a usurpation of power. That is a congressional power. And I'm also disturbed that my staff has told me that Acting Secretary Denise Carter has locked the doors to the People's Department of Education. So what I invite the media and all of my colleagues to do is to walk over to those doors, and hopefully Acting Secretary Denise Carter will have the decency to reverse the decision to lock those doors. We simply want to have a conversation with her, and we have a question to ask her. Acting Secretary Denise Carter, will you stand up to a would-be king who thinks that he can dismantle the Department of Education without congressional concurrence. He must go through the U.S. Congress to take apart a department that was established in law. So colleagues, will you join me, and members of the media, will you follow us to those doors?
Clarity Times. Independent, factual, non-biased news you can rely on. Visit us at www.claritytimes.com, 24/7 for news that matters to you.